Hello, Mr. Weatherman. This is Daryl McClanahan.
Yes, sir.
I was wanting to ask you about the property damage on the cell phone or the assault. Me and my wife were talking about all of this morning, of course, every day.
I am waiting to receive probable cause statements in order to determine whether or not there's sufficient evidence to charge. Once that determination is made, you will receive contact from my victim's advocate about the process going forward. But
I
as of right now, I don't have any information to be able to file.
Okay, you were waiting on. I missed that. I have a child making noise.
I'm waiting on a probable cause statement from law enforcement. I can't do anything by law. I can't do anything without that probable cause statement. So I'm
Okay,
waiting for law enforcement to finish their investigation.
okay, and that's a review of the video.
I can't even begin to tell you what law enforcement is
Okay, you have no.
looking at in their investigation. Undoubtedly, part of it is a video.
Okay, a part of it is the video, and I'm considering making a motion to recant waiving my preliminary hearing. Back in October of 2020 or October of 2021, Mr. Stehle was charged with disturbing the peace and trespassing, and Mr. Garabrandt basically dismissed those charges. Uh, we had asked for a protection order, and when me and my wife appeared at court, we were met at the door by his attorney Woods, and attorney Woods promised us if we did not pursue a protection order, uh, that Mr. Stehle would leave us alone. And there's a video where I recount where after that he continued. And you told me you would leave prison off the table, correct? At the waiving the preliminary hearing.
Yes.
Okay, but wasn't that wasn't put on the. Uh, I have a friend in another state, and that's an attorney, and he said it really should have been put on the record. And I really kind of
Well, your
feel.
friend. Okay, I'm just going to cut in for a minute because
Okay.
there's a whole lot wrong with what's been said so far.
Okay.
If your friend wants to practice law in Missouri, then he needs to pay his money to practice law in Missouri. Otherwise, he needs to understand that advising someone legally of issues within Missouri is unlawful, and he
Uh,
is breaking the law and will likely be disbarred in his home state.
okay. When we discussed
There
the.
is no.
Okay. When me
There's
and you
nothing
dis.
you can put on.
Okay. When
Sorry,
me.
let me finish. There's nothing to put on the record in associate court what's going to be resolved in circuit court.
Okay. I'm not an attorney, and I don't want to practice law, and I believe you're allowed to have a McKinsey friend. When we were discussing what we were doing, you said I'm allowed to have an attorney or a friend advise me. Correct?
You were, but that there is. Okay, I'm not saying that you did anything wrong.
Okay.
You having someone advise you is never going to be something you did wrong.
Sure.
Lawyers have an obligation to only provide legal advice where
Okay.
they are licensed to practice law.
In my brief, I ask you to be fair and truthful, and I think in all fairness, with the probable cause statement and Deputy Miller not coming there, and you asking me if I had subpoenaed him, he's required to be there. And I
No,
really
he's not.
feel that I was taken advantage
No, he's
of.
not.
Okay. Well, I feel like I was taken advantage of. I think the case has no merit. They're using you. They're using the prosecutor's office for their civil attorney. This was a civil disagreement we had with Mr. Raymond's daughter. He never. I think he's been manipulated because he's old and he doesn't want a bunch of drama going on. If Mr. Stehle and Mr. Smith, Rory Smith, had not brought all kinds of junk up along the property line, maybe we could have sold it. They would have new neighbors and everyone would move forward. Mr. Stehle continuously comes to the court. Uh, he has every right to do that, but he stood right in front of you and called me a coward and a psycho, and he's calling me names. I have never behaved like that, and he broke our phone. Uh, we're making a loan at it's going to be a high interest rate to pay to have a Adam Woody represent me when I think the end result is going to be that the case doesn't have merit, that it's a civil matter. from all the way back in 2018 when attorney Gross wrote the contract, and his behavior's been egregious. Whenever Christopher did a motion that he had acted as our attorney, and he refused to recuse himself. And when, in all fairness, he should have done that. He should have recused himself and just moved it to another judge. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think I'm just asking for fairness. And this is my wife weighs like 100 pounds and it's totally strict. We had tornadoes come through here last night. She worked in Joplin. That upsets her a lot, and we're living in a 32-foot trailer. I have threats of people on the YouTube channel saying they're going to call child welfare. They could do that. My kids are getting straight A's. They're fed. We have water, heat. We're set up very nicely, and we love our children.
Sir, here's
Yeah.
the thing. We're going off the rails.
Okay.
You tell me you're hiring an attorney, which means I need to wait to speak to your attorney.
Well, I'm not sure I'm hiring him. I would like you to realize that the case doesn't have any merit, or maybe I'm going to file a mandamus in the case with the Missouri Supreme Court. I don't know.
Mandamus with the Supreme Court. You would have to file with the Missouri Southern District Court of Appeals first. This case has not had anything finally decided, which means there's no issue for appeal yet. You can't just appeal because you've changed your mind on waiving preliminary hearing.
Well, it's not that I changed my mind. I feel like I didn't even get into the courtroom. There were people blocking the entrance to the courtroom. You met me
and we. In the courtroom, Your Honor. You were in the courtroom with the judge.
After the witnesses left, but you told me that. I know, but you told me if I was to say I wanted it after they left, you would just refile the charges. So I was pretty much stuck.
Well, you're right. If we had reached an agreement to waive your preliminary hearing, and because of that agreement, I sent my witnesses away, partially to avoid a confrontation that you tell me that was assuredly going to happen.
What?
So I send them away.
A confrontation that was assured. I was going to cause a confrontation.
No.
Okay.
No, I did not say that.
Okay. You saw their behavior.
If you would let me finish, you're going to hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're probably going to be done talking.
I didn't call to.
If you are telling me that you believe you were unlawfully coerced into waiving your preliminary hearing, then I would suggest you file a motion in the Circuit Court of Ozark County in front of the Honorable Greg Carter, and we'll hear your motion. We'll call Judge Bach to the stand, who will testify that she specifically asked you if this is in fact what you wanted to do, that were you being coerced in any way, or whether you felt this was not voluntary. If you are going to tell me that you believe Judge Bach is a liar, then we are probably done. You will need to have yourself an attorney.
No, I don't think she's a liar, but you told me that prison is off the table. I'm not a convicted felon, and a friend told me that prison's off the table anyway because the case has no merit. And okay, well, and I know you're the prosecutor with all the power. Now, did attorney prosecutor Garabrandt make you aware that I made a report to law enforcement about Christopher speaking to me about the Spurlock murder case? He had disparaged the victim and called the guy a piece of shit. And sorry for the language. And Christopher quite often uses very foul language. And he said his guy was a hero. And I didn't ask him about the case. I asked him about a case that he represented a guy in Ava that was years ago. That was a love triangle shooting thing. And he prevailed in that case, and I asked him about that, and he proceeded to tell me a lot of, I believe, were private details that violate attorney-client privilege, and I did.
If you believe that your former attorney has done unethical things, then you need to contact the Missouri Bar.
The chief disciplinary, they're sending me a complaint form. I mean, that's not really what I want to do. He's representing me still.
There's two sides. There's two sides. There is OCDC, which is the Office of Chief Disciplinary Counsel, and there is the complaint section of the Missouri Bar.
Sure.
If we're going to touch upon the other case in which he's representing you, then he needs to be on the line as well.
Sure.
It's not something we're going to be able
Yeah,
to do
these
right
are
now.
this is the harassment cases that have been
Well, sir, I am ethically bound to not talk to you about those cases
Sure.
because you are represented by counsel.
Sure. So the three charges that I called you about are my concerns that the other party in discovery is they're going to be provided a affidavit of power of attorney of Deborah Brizio.
Sir, again, I don't think you understand what is necessary in a criminal charge versus what is necessary in a civil charge. I do again iterate that I believe you do need an attorney, whoever that attorney may be. But I'm not going to go into the specifics of the nuts and bolts of the case today about how we have to move forward.
Okay, well, so that's not needed. She's not an owner of the property. She didn't own any of that property, and she's able to make allegations.
I am not going to give you legal advice. I am the prosecuting attorney of Ozark County.
So,
I represent the county, not any individual.
Okay, the state.
And I cannot give legal advice.
Okay, so
to any individual.
So you are taking prison off the table on those three charges of, as you promised me at the meeting.
You agreed to waive your preliminary hearing in return for what was going to be a probation offer.
Okay.
So yes, that is still the case. I made a promise to you that if you waived prelim, that was what I was going to do.
Okay. And I hope you don't take offense, but I'm on my side, you're on your side, and it's very concerning, and I was lied to by Attorney Wood that Mr. Stehle would leave us alone way back a long time ago, and he didn't do that, and they didn't keep their word, and Mr. Wood exactly said to us in the hallway, he said, if he comes by your house and bothers you, you could record him, but he's going to leave you alone. And Attorney Wood, and don't get this ex parte against him. And that day, Prosecutor Garabrandt was there and the judge was there, and me and my wife, out of the kindness of our hearts, were like, okay, maybe this will stop. And we won't get the protection order, and we could pass and repass with the guy. And I always stayed at home at my property. I never went to his house to try to film him. I never followed him in his vehicle. He followed my wife to Branson a few times and just totally scared the hell out of her. Maybe he was going on business there as well, but she's still a woman. So, okay, I'll let you go and try to seek counsel and figure out what I'm going to do. But it's very concerning that I feel they're using the prosecutor's office as their civil attorney, and I think other people will see it that way as well. All right, thank you for your time. Hopefully I didn't interrupt you.
You're welcome.
All right, you have a good day.